Hello, my name is Alexis.
And my name is Juan.
We are the Villegas brothers located in Los Angeles. And in today's video, we're going to show you some of our side hustles.
And some of our mistakes.
Alexis.
Yes.
I heard back in the day, you used to have a little side hustle when you were 12.
Yeah. So back in the day, I know I used to play, or we used to have a soccer team. We used to play in different fields. And I kind of wanted to buy a few things here and there for myself, but I didn't have the money. I decided to buy energy drinks and sell them to the other players.
And how much were you selling the drinks for? Do you remember?
I think the Gatorades, I was selling them for $1. I was kind of undercutting the señoras and the other people. I was kind of undercutting them, but I used to sell waters and Gatorades, everything at $1.
You ever get caught?
Nah. It was something. It was probably like 2-3 months, because then eventually it was kind of it was a little too much trying to play soccer and trying to sell at the same time. So I just decided to stick with soccer.
Got it. And what was your motivation to start selling stuff to make money?
So when I decided at 12 years old, when I decided to start selling, you could say, waters and Gatorades, it was just to make extra money for a video game. After that, I know one of the reasons why I got started into doing more side hustles was because of my brother.
So Juan,
Yeah.
what's the next side hustle? You guys tried or you tried?
I tried, I think it was selling online on eBay. So I know we had a lot of video games that our parents bought us before, some Xbox, PS3. And so we needed to make some money because that was right out of high school. And so, yeah, so we just needed some money. And so we just started selling them online on eBay primarily. So we started selling the video games, we started selling the Xbox. And right there is when we started learning how to ship and how to go about listing it, doing the title, getting the images. So that's where we learned the e-commerce side. And it really fit perfectly with us because we tend to be on the introverted side. So we don't really like, not that we don't like talking to people, but it's just we tend to be introverted. And so the selling online, it was perfect for us. It was a perfect start to kind of the journey in the future. So that was our next journey.
How long did you do the eBay hustle for?
It was for probably 6 months, because then from that we ran out of stuff to sell.
Yeah.
So we just had to go ahead and do get a job.
What's the hardest thing about selling on eBay?
I think the returns, people scamming. That's always the worst, because let's say we've shipped an Xbox and then they ship it back saying it's defective or something. When they ship it back, they ship the wrong thing, either Xbox that's not working or just nothing at all.
And I heard eBay really favors the customer instead of the seller.
Yes.
Did you get your money back? Did you fight it or did you just take it?
I fought it. There's been a couple instances of people doing that, and most of the time the eBay, they sided with the buyer and they refunded him at our expense. So that really sucked for sure.
Got it. After eBay, you guys went to go get regular jobs?
Yeah, regular jobs. Yeah. After that, I got a job at Home Depot. After that, I knew it wasn't enough, so I got, you could say, recruited into starting to sell insurance. And so that's kind of our next hustle. But there, I learned a lot about finance and insurance and stuff, but that's definitely one of the places where I learned a lot of the mentality of business, and just going ahead and getting out of my comfort zone and talking to people, because there I needed to go ahead and talk to people, telling them about the other services and all that. So that's really definitely when I got out of my shell and started talking to people.
Did you do insurance as well?
Yeah, so that's one of the things. I was still in high school. I was still 17 years old, and then Juan came up to me and hey, I got into this thing. Or he didn't say I got into this thing, but he's I found this thing. Maybe this is something we could do. And he took me to an event, and then I just wow, all these people, they're saying they're making all this money, so maybe that's something I could do. And so at 17 years old, I was still in high school. I was basically going to work with Juan.
Yes.
Got it. Now, there's a lot of negative views about insurance people. Is it a scam? What would you guys say about it?
On our experience, it isn't.
No,
it's just sometimes maybe the business model is not, people don't like the business model, which I get because there's a lot of recruiting, a lot of selling. But the business of selling insurance itself is not a scam. I have life insurance, and I know
I have several life insurance, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a scam, even though the business model might not be, a lot of people might not like it. It's not a scam, in my opinion.
So you guys did that for a year?
Roughly a year.
Yeah, roughly.
What made you stop?
Because I feel like we were young. A lot of people didn't trust us with their insurance needs or our finances. So we weren't getting like a lot of business. So that's when we were like, you know what, we need to make some money. And so that's why we had to go back and get another job.
Yeah, and so with that, I think I was the first person who got out of it, and it was because I started selling door-to-doors. I started selling vacuums. I don't know if you ever heard of Kirby. The Kirby vacuums, they're like $2,000 vacuums. So I would go, and I only lasted 3 months. I would go door to door, knock on people like, hey, you know, we're doing this. We're cleaning carpets for free to show you what we're offering, which is the vacuum. So I did that for 3 months. And so I was going out in the field every day, 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours. So I didn't have time to do the insurance. So that's why I stopped going and I started doing door to door selling.
How'd you handle the rejection? Did you get a lot of door slam in your face?
Not per se, no. Like I didn't have instances. It's just a lot of people like, oh, I'm not interested, and then they would just they didn't slam it, but they would just close it on me. So it definitely sucked. That's one of the things I had to get used to. Again, like Juan said, at least for myself, I'm also kind of introverted. So that was one of the things that I had to get over, the fear of talking to people, the fear of rejection. So definitely, like that also helped me.
And after 3 months, you went to go get a regular job or start something different?
From there, I got a regular job. Yeah.
And what was the next hustle you guys started?
So from there, because we got the other job, I started working at this place that they were like a really like a big, relatively big company. They were like 80 employees, and I know they were doing a lot of liquidation. They were selling like a lot of Nordstrom stuff, Bloomingdale's clothing. They were selling that, and so I started working there, and then I learned a lot from there too. And so just because they started doing that, I just started going on YouTube, and us always wanting to make the extra money. Primarily our goal from the beginning was retiring my mom, and so I think that's where the motivation came from. So we, wanting to make more money, I Googled on YouTube, liquidation pallets. Started on Google where to find liquidation pallets, and that's where we came across that Macy has their own portal where you could, if you sign up with them, you could start buying pallets from them directly. And so that's where okay. So that's another opportunity. So eventually I was working there, and then I got more information, and then eventually I quit, and then we started, I first started selling, buying from Macy's and selling on eBay, selling on Amazon. So back to the e-commerce side.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the next hustle that we started, was the selling liquidation pallets from Macy's.
And for people who don't know, how hard is it to buy liquidation pallets from a company? What do you need?
So for that one, I know they asked for your LLC and for your EIN number. So that's one place where we need to start getting legit. So we went to LegalZoom and we started our first company, which was called Formal Apparel Integrated Services. And so once we had that ready, we applied with Macy's, and then they eventually approved us. And then from there, it's really easy. You just log into their account, and then you just see all the pallets that they have, and you just purchase them from them. And then just pay for the shipping, and then they deliver to your door. So it's pretty simple and easy. Yeah. So that was the process.
On average, how much was the pallet with shipping?
With shipping was like $150 per pallet. The pallets varied from like 2,000 to like 8,000. Oh. Yeah, the 8,000 mainly was from like Bloomingdale's, where they had the high-end stuff, like what are the high-end brands?
Calvin Klein, Hugo Boss,
John Barbados, those high-end ones.
2,000, man, that's a commitment.
Yeah,
that is.
But I think one thing to notice, in the beginning, we didn't start off buying pallets and selling them. We started off buying from, you could say, retail stores. I know we started in Goodwill. They started to do an offer that said everything today is going to be $1. So we would buy suits, we would buy jackets for $1, and we would sell it for $40, $50, $60. So that's how we started building capital in order for us to buy the pallets.
Yeah.
You got it. Now, you were buying these pallets. Were you selling a lot? Was it a struggle to sell it? What was your experience?
At the beginning it was, because I think a good portion of our early success came to luck, because we started buying pallets, and those pallets, they went pretty quickly. So at the beginning we just listed it up, have good images, take good measurements, because I know in clothing there's a lot of returns. So we just had good images, good titles, measured the clothing, so when people saw the listing, they could see, okay, this is gonna fit, and so they wouldn't return it. So I would say at the beginning it was pretty easy. Yeah. We're getting lucky getting the right pallets. But as time went on, that's when we started seeing more competition from bigger companies coming in, being able to price it lower, because the more you buy, the more of a deal you get. And so we couldn't do that, so they started like outpricing us. And then also they had a bigger team. They had overall a better system of going about selling it. And eventually, like, we kind of started struggling, and especially because when at the beginning, once we started seeing some success, we went ahead and first started with what do you call it? What are those things called that you pay every month, like storage units? We started with that. Then we moved into a warehouse that was like $500 a month. It was like probably like 500 square feet, and then eventually we started seeing a little bit more success. We moved to a $2,000 a month small warehouse. And because we had that, and then the competition started coming in, and it was harder for us to sell, that's when we started to struggle.
Yeah.
Not paying rent and stuff.
How long were you doing that hustle for?
Well, we started in, do you remember, 2016?
2016.
So we started in 2016, all the way up until 2017. And then in the beginning, we would work, and then right after work, we would go to the warehouse to kind of like work on the business. So we did that for roughly 2 years, and then also like towards the end, one of the things also that kind of like I asked Juan, and to ask ourselves is we could continue doing the business, we could kind of compete with the bigger brands, but something we kind of decided is this something we want to do long term? Is selling clothing, like you could say, our passion? And one of the things we realized is it wasn't, so that's why we moved on from there.
Now, you guys stopped the liquidation pallet business.
Yeah.
What happened next? Back to the day job?
Back to the day job. So
Yeah.
it's really like hustle, failing job. And then so after this, I wouldn't say it's a failure, because we definitely learned from our mistakes. And so from there on, we knew that some things that we shouldn't do, like as I know we took on debt to buy pallets, and then that was like, okay. So that one became, so we learned from that. But from that one, then I started working at this, they sold the vinyl wrap. And so I started working there, and from there, I lasted probably like a year and a half. And then it's just like, me, I always, trying to make more money. I was like, there was this opportunity. So I was working there, and then there was opportunity that came where someone else was selling their machine and had a similar business. So we just, kind of like, okay, let's go ahead and buy their machine. And they were not interested anymore. So let's go ahead and get their machine, and let's start doing our own thing. And so from there on, we just had our machine, and then we had the knowledge. And so I told my brother, maybe this is something that we can do.
Yeah.
And then that's how we started.
And you started this when?
What was it? Like end of 2019. So like almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So it was like we started like before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So that's where we started it.
And so with this, I know Juan brought it up to me. He came to me with the idea, but at the beginning I told him, nah, like I'm gonna do my own stuff. Like, cause one of the things that I'm passionate about is soccer. So I wanted to do like soccer related stuff, maybe selling clothing or starting a soccer club. So that's one of the things, but then he was insistent. That's the good thing. You could say I'm happy about Juan, that he was insistent, hey, come on, we should do this. And cause I didn't want to do it in the beginning, but then he brought it to me, and like as he explained it, it made sense. So I'm like, hey man, let's go ahead and do it.
So you guys been doing this for 3 years.
Roughly, yeah.
What's the goal? What's up? Is there another hustle out there, or are you guys sticking with this? What's your plan?
No, I think definitely we've seen a lot of success, especially because we sell on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, and then we have our own website. And we've seen quite a bit of success, a lot of success actually. And so we see that this is the opportunity. We see that there's a lot of growth in this industry, especially with paint protection film, window tint. And so we see that there's a lot of opportunity for growth within this business. So at the moment, we're sticking with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know because of the type of kits that we sell, the products that we sell, so they're kits. And so people could buy online, and then they could install it at their homes. And so because of that, one of the things that we're also starting is a window tint shop and PPF too. But that right there, we're gonna have people coming. We're gonna learn even more about the film, learning how to work with it and all that. So we're opening that, and then so it's just kind of like gonna add to our e-commerce site. But at the same time, we're gonna have a tint shop where people could come in and stuff like that.
All right, and those were all the hustles that we tried over the years.
And in the comments below, let us know how many side hustles you've tried.
And we're also going to be uploading more videos about our journey, so make sure to subscribe. So this is Alexis.
This is Juan.
We are the Villegas brothers, and we'll see you on the next video.